We met 50 years ago this May. We've been married for 48 years. We were dated for 2 years.
Despite their fame, glamour, and respect as country music stars, their secret lives tarnish their public persona. Here are 15 country music divas who have had an affair with multiple men in their lifetime. Number 1 is someone you could never have suspected. Number 15, Tammy Wynette. Tammy Wynette, often called the First Lady of country music, lived a love life as dramatic as the heartbreaking ballads she sang. With multiple marriages, high-profile affairs, and emotional turbulence, Tammy's name was always in the headlines. Tammy's first marriage was to Upal Bird in 1960 when she was just 17. Bird, who was 5 years her senior, was not supportive of her musical aspirations. The marriage was rocky, plagued by financial struggles, and Tammy's growing desire for a singing career. The couple divorced in 1966, with Tammy moving to Nashville to pursue her dream. Her second marriage came a year later to Don Chappelle, a songwriter. At first, it seemed like a match based on shared musical goals, but the relationship soured fast. Their union ended in 1968 under scandalous circumstances. Shortly after that, Tammy met fellow country star George Jones, who was already an icon. Tammy married George Jones in February 1969, creating one of country music's most famous power couples. Their duets, like Golden Ring, mirrored their passionate but volatile relationship. Unfortunately, Jones's alcoholism and their frequent public fights eroded the marriage. Tammy filed for divorce in 1973 and eventually finalized the split in 1975. In 1976, Tammy married Michael Tomlin, a real estate executive. This union was shockingly brief, lasting only 44 days, making it one of her short-lived marriages. Friends said Tammy married on impulse, and the relationship dissolved almost as quickly as it began. Later that same year, she married George Ritchie, a songwriter and her longtime business manager. This marriage lasted until she died in 1998. Rumors of extramarital affairs dotted Tammy's life. In the early 70s, some Nashville insiders whispered about a brief fling she had with a prominent record producer. There were also persistent rumors that during her turbulent marriage to George Jones, she had an emotional involvement with a touring musician who comforted her during Jones's worst drinking episodes. Tammy Wynette's romantic history was a whirlwind of passion as her love life mirrored the themes of her music. Number 14, Lorrie Morgan. Lorrie Morgan, one of the most celebrated female voices in country music, has lived a personal life that is as dramatic and heartfelt as the ballads she sings. Her journey through 6 marriages and several notable romances reflects a life filled with passion, heartbreak, and resilience. At just 20 years old, Lorrie married Ron Gaddis, the bassist for George Jones's band. Their relationship was brief, but it brought her first child, Morgan Anastasia Gaddis, who was born in 1980. The pressures of touring and the demands of young parenthood proved too much, and the couple divorced soon after. In 1986, Lorrie married country star Keith Whitley, whose soulful voice and rising career made him one of Nashville's brightest lights. Their love story was intense and publicly adored, but tragically cut short. Whitley's ongoing battle with alcoholism cast shadows over their marriage, though Lorrie remained steadfastly supportive. On May 9, 1989, tragedy struck when Keith died from alcohol poisoning at just 33. Lorrie was left widowed with their young son, Jesse Keith Whitley. 2 years later, she married Brad Thompson, a former bus driver for Clint Black. While Thompson offered stability, their relationship lacked the spark and connection Lorrie craved. The marriage quietly ended after 2 years, with both moving on amicably. During the mid-90s, Lorrie dated U.S. Senator and actor Fred Thompson. The relationship drew national attention, and although they never married, the romance was widely covered by the press, with Lorrie appearing at political events alongside him. In 1996, she wed singer-songwriter John Randall, known for his work in both country and bluegrass circles. The marriage started with creative collaboration, but ended in divorce 3 years later. Lorrie's 5th marriage was to fellow country singer Sammy Kershaw. This was perhaps her most fiery union, marked by public arguments, intense passion, and multiple separations before their final divorce in 2007. In September 2010, Lorrie married businessman Randy White in a beachside ceremony in Destin, Florida. This marriage was a turning point, offering her stability, companionship, and a quieter home life. They were together until Randy died in 2025, making this her longest-lasting marriage. Number 13, Jana Kramer. Jana Kramer, known for her acting role in One Tree Hill and her successful country music career, has lived a romantic life filled with intense highs, painful heartbreaks, and public revelations. Jana's first marriage was to Michael Gambino when she was just 20 years old. It was a dark and short-lived chapter. Gambino was later convicted of attempted murder after a violent attack on her, and Jana has spoken openly about the abuse she endured. The marriage ended quickly, but the emotional scars lingered. After her acting career began to flourish, Jana met country singer Brantley Gilbert in 2012 at the CMT Music Awards. Their romance blossomed quickly, and by January 2013, they were engaged. However, the engagement ended in August 2013. In between those years, Jana had a short marriage to actor Jonathan Cheich in July 2010. The marriage famously lasted only about a month before they separated. In the wake of her third marriage ending, Jana briefly dated former NFL quarterback Jay Cutler in late 2021. Their romance was short, but widely covered by the media. Around this time, she was also linked to fitness trainer Ian Shinelli, though that relationship ended with public accusations and disagreements. Perhaps the most publicized of all her relationships was her marriage to former NFL player Mike Cosson. They wed in May 2015 after a whirlwind romance. Just months later, Cosson entered rehab for sex addiction, and their relationship became a very public struggle with trust, infidelity, and repeated separations. The marriage ended in divorce in July 2021. In 2024, Jana married Scottish former soccer player Alan Russell in an intimate ceremony. The relationship, which began in 2003, was a fresh start for her. Alan has been openly supportive of Jana's children and career, offering a stability she says she's never experienced before. Number 12. Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton's romantic life has been as intriguing as her legendary career, though she has always been intensely private about her personal affairs. Her primary and most enduring relationship is with Carl Thomas Dean, whom she met on May 30th, 1964, outside a Nashville laundromat. While Dolly and Carl's marriage has lasted over 5 decades, it's been marked by speculation. Over the years, tabloids have suggested that Parton may have had other romantic connections, though she has rarely addressed them directly. One persistent rumor links her to her longtime musical collaborator Porter Wagoner. Their undeniable on-screen chemistry sparked gossip. Another recurring name that Dolly Parton was rumored to be with is Kenny Rogers. Dolly and Kenny's duets, especially Islands in the Stream, showcased a playful, affectionate connection that fans loved. In the early 1980s, Dolly faced a difficult personal crisis involving an emotional entanglement she had never fully revealed. She has admitted in interviews that she once had a deep attachment to someone outside her marriage, leading to a period of depression and even suicidal thoughts. In her book, Dolly, My Life and Other Unfinished Business, she referred to this as her affair of the heart. Despite these speculations, Dolly has always emphasized her loyalty to Carl Dean. Number 11. LeAnn Rimes. LeAnn Rimes is one country music star whose most scrutinized relationship began while she was still married to dancer and choreographer Dean Shermet. They got married on February 23, 2002, after meeting at the 2001 ACM Awards. In 2008, Rimes was cast opposite actor Eddie Cibrian in the Lifetime movie Northern Lights. Working together that year laid the groundwork for a romance that later became public in March 2009, when entertainment outlets reported an extramarital affair. At the time, both Rimes and Cibrian were married. Randy was also married to a model and TV personality, Brandi Glanville. Rimes initially denied having any relationship with Cibrian, but later admitted it. She separated from Shermet in July 2009, and Cibrian also filed for divorce from Glanville on August 24, 2009, citing irreconcilable differences. That summer, the couple cohabited, which further indicated their commitment in the face of tabloid and social media backlash. December 2010 brought a public engagement announcement, and on April 22, 2011, Rimes and Cibrian married in an intimate California ceremony with roughly 40 guests, including his sons Mason and Jake from his marriage to Glanville. What had begun as a workplace connection and tabloid storyline settled into domestic normalcy over the next several years. The shift from acrimony to civility helped cool the tabloid temperature and reframe the couple in the press as a long-term unit rather than a perpetual scandal. Number 10. Loretta Lynn. Loretta Lynn, the coal miner's daughter, built her legacy on honest songs about love, betrayal, and female resilience. Much of that honesty came from her own turbulent romantic life, which revolved almost entirely around her one long, complex marriage to Oliver Doolittle Lynn, along with rumors of other entanglements that swirled throughout her career. Loretta married Doolittle Lynn in January 1948 when she was just 15 years old and he was 21. The marriage came after a whirlwind courtship of only a month. Throughout their nearly 50-year union, Doolittle was rumored to have multiple affairs. Loretta herself admitted that she sometimes knew about his infidelities, but chose to stay because of their children and the deep, complicated bond they shared. She described Doolittle as both the love of her life and the source of much of her heartbreak. As Loretta's fame grew, there were whispers in Nashville about her having at least one emotional affair with a fellow country artist during periods of estrangement from Doolittle. These claims were never confirmed, but she did speak about finding comfort and companionship outside of her marriage during its rockiest moments. While touring heavily in the mid-70s, she developed close friendships with several male musicians. Some insiders claimed at least one of these friendships crossed into romantic territory during a long separation from her husband. Loretta never publicly acknowledged any such relationship, but the emotional rawness of her music during that era fueled speculation. Number 9. Shania Twain. Shania Twain's romantic history has been as dramatic as her music career. She married South African-born producer Robert John Lang on December 28, 1993. Lang was instrumental in shaping her sound, producing her breakthrough album, The Woman in Me, and its follow-up, Come On Over, which became the best-selling country album of all time. Professionally and personally, they were a powerhouse duo, splitting their time between Switzerland and the United States while keeping their marriage largely private. The turning point came in May 2008, when Twain and Lang announced their separation. The initial public explanation was simply that the marriage had ended, but it soon emerged that Lang had been having an affair with Marie-Anne Thiebaud, the Swiss secretary and close friend of Twain. The betrayal was profound. Twain later revealed that she had confided in Marie-Anne about problems in her marriage, unaware she was speaking to the very person involved with her husband. The emotional fallout was immense. Twain described spiraling into depression, losing her voice due to dysphonia, and feeling physically and emotionally unable to perform. She recounted in later interviews that the combination of heartbreak and betrayal left her isolated, especially because she had moved to Switzerland for privacy and had built her life there. Ironically, the path to healing began with Frédéric Thiebaud, Marie-Anne's then husband, another person wounded by the same betrayal. The two formed a bond through shared pain, supporting each other in their respective divorces. Friendship turned into romance, and by December 2010, they were engaged. Twain publicly announced the engagement on her website, calling Frédéric a dear friend and a true gentleman. On the 1st of January 2011, Shania Twain married Frédéric Thiebaud in Rincon, Puerto Rico, in an intimate beach ceremony with around 40 guests. The wedding was not only a new beginning in love, but also a return to self-confidence and joy after years of emotional turmoil. She credits Frédéric with helping her find stability and trust again, and she has described their relationship as deeply supportive. In various interviews and in her memoir From This Moment On, Twain framed the story not as one of defeat, but as one of overcoming personal devastation. In the years since, Twain and Frédéric have appeared together at public events, with Twain frequently acknowledging that their relationship is grounded in friendship and shared values. They maintain homes in Switzerland and Las Vegas, and Frédéric often accompanies her on tour. Today, their marriage stands as an example of how even the most public betrayals can lead to unexpectedly happy endings. Number 8. Reba McEntire. Reba McEntire's romantic life has been intertwined with her decades-long career in country music, marked by both long-term commitments and unexpected turns. Her first marriage was to Charlie Battles, a former steer wrestling champion and rancher, in 1976. Battles was older and already had 2 children from a previous marriage, and McEntire, then an emerging country artist from Oklahoma, embraced the role of stepmother. They lived on a ranch in Oklahoma, where Reba balanced her music career with rural life. During this time, McEntire's career began to take off. She signed with Mercury Records in the mid-1970s and had her first Billboard country chart hit in 1976. But as her fame grew, tensions arose. Reba was spending more time on the road, while Battles preferred she remain close to home. Their differing visions for the future, combined with the pressures of her rising career, led to friction. After 11 years of marriage, McEntire filed for divorce. She later admitted in interviews that she felt she had outgrown the relationship and wanted more independence. A few years after that, she met and married Narvel Blackstock, her steel guitar player and manager. This marriage became central to her personal and professional life. Narvel was not only her love partner, but also in business. Together, they formed Starstruck Entertainment, which managed her career and expanded her brand into television, acting, and merchandising. The two raised a blended family, which included Reba's son, Shelby Blackstock, Narvel's 3 children from a previous marriage, and several grandchildren. For over 26 years, McEntire and Blackstock appeared to be one of country music's most stable couples. However, in August 2015, the couple announced their separation, and by December of that year, their divorce was finalized. Reba later revealed that the divorce was not her idea and that the split had deeply hurt her. Following her divorce, McIntyre surprised fans in early 2017 by confirming she was in a relationship with Anthony Skeeter Lasuzo, a retired oil geologist and wildlife photographer she met through friends. The two traveled extensively and shared a love of the outdoors. They appeared together at numerous events, but by late 2019, McIntyre confirmed they had amicably split because of conflicting schedules and lifestyles. Number 7. Patty Loveless. Born Patricia Lee Ramey in Pikeville, Kentucky, Patty began her musical journey singing with her siblings before relocating to Nashville. At age 19, she married her first husband, Terry Lovelace, the drummer for the Wilburn Brothers. The couple wed in 1973, and she adopted the stage name Patty Loveless, a deliberate spelling change from Lovelace to distance herself from adult film star Linda Lovelace. The pressures of career building and touring strained the relationship, and they divorced in 1986. After returning to Nashville and rebuilding her career, Patty reconnected with Emery Gordy Jr., a seasoned musician and producer. They married in February 1989, though the union remained private for some time before becoming public. This long-lasting marriage offered a contrast to her earlier, shorter-lived union. In a 2024 Woman's World interview, Patty reflected on the time spent apart during their touring days and the special moments they now cherish together. Number 6. Terri Clark. Her journey through love has been as layered and emotionally charged as the heartfelt lyrics she's sung for decades. Terry's first great love came in the form of Ted Stevenson, a talented fiddle player whose own life revolved around music. The two married in 1991, during a period when Terry was still chasing her big break in country music. In 1993, they welcomed their son, Noah. But the demands of her budding career and the realities of life on the road proved to be a strain in their relationship. By 1996, the marriage had ended, leaving Terry to navigate single motherhood. Years later, love came knocking again, this time in the form of Greg Kazor, her longtime tour manager. Their relationship grew naturally, born from the countless days and nights spent working side by side on the road. In September 2005, the two married in a ceremony that was even featured on CMT's In the Moment. In a short time, their marriage came crashing down. By February 2007, the couple had filed for divorce. In a bittersweet twist, their daughter, Danielle, was born in May of that same year. Terry embraced motherhood for the second time, even as she closed another chapter in her romantic life. Since her two marriages ended, Terry has remained private about any other relationships. She's focused on raising her children, continuing her career, and maintaining a strong connection with her fans. Number 5. Chely Wright. Chely Wright's love life has been as brave and transformative as her career in country music, but for much of her life, it unfolded behind closed doors. Born Richelle Renee Wright in Kansas, she grew up in a conservative environment where the idea of being openly gay seemed impossible. From the beginning, her relationships were shaped by the need to keep her truth hidden. Before coming out publicly in 2010, Chely had at least 2 significant same-sex relationships. These were not casual flings, but deep emotional bonds formed in the shadows of a world that wasn't ready to accept her fully. In her memoir, Like Me, Confessions of a Heartland Country Singer, Chely gave fans a glimpse into how these hidden romances shaped her life. She also revealed that she once had a brief romantic connection with fellow country star Brad Paisley, a relationship she pursued in part because she thought it might help her appear straight to the public and perhaps convince herself she could live that life, but it didn't happen. When Chely finally came out in May 2010, she became the first major country music star to identify as gay openly. This announcement was both a personal liberation and a professional gamble. Despite all that, her life took a joyful turn in 2011 when she met music executive Lauren Blitzer. The two connected over shared values and a mutual understanding of the challenges LGBTQ+ individuals face in the public eye. Their romance blossomed quickly, and by August 20th, 2011, they were married in a private ceremony officiated by both a reverend and a rabbi. In 2013, Chely and Lauren welcomed identical twin boys, George Samuel and Everett Joseph. From hidden romances to an open, committed marriage, Chely Wright's relationship history tells a story of courage and the eventual triumph of living one's truth without compromise. Number 4. Tanya Tucker. Tanya Tucker's love life has been as bold, unpredictable, and unapologetic as her music career. Although she never married, she was engaged several times and had a string of headline-making relationships that kept her name in the gossip columns for decades. Her most famous romance, and undoubtedly the most turbulent, was with Glenn Campbell. Their relationship was a whirlwind of passion and public drama. Campbell was 22 years her senior and was a superstar in his own right. They shared duets, stage appearances, and very public arguments. Tanya was barely in her 20s at the time, and their intense love affair burned fast and hot. They were engaged at one point, but the wedding never happened. Their breakup was messy and very public, leaving a lasting mark on both their personal histories. After Campbell, Tanya was linked to a variety of high-profile men, many of them from the music and entertainment industries. She dated actor Don Johnson briefly in the 1980s, a pairing that turned heads given his Hollywood heartthrob status during the height of Miami Vice. She was also rumored to have had romantic connections with country stars Merle Haggard and Andy Gibb. Tanya's love life took another notable turn when she became engaged to songwriter Jerry Lasseter in the late 1990s. The two had an on-and-off relationship that spanned years, producing 2 children, Presley Tanita and Bo Grayson Tucker. Tanya once revealed that she called off their wedding the night before because she didn't want to walk down the aisle while pregnant. Despite their breakups, Tanya and Lasseter remained connected through co-parenting and shared history. In addition to these engagements and relationships, Tanya was also romantically linked to rodeo cowboy Ben Reed, with whom she had her first daughter, Presley. Reed went on to have a successful acting career, but his connection to Tanya remains part of her personal story. Through it all, Tanya Tucker never lost her sense of self. She has often said she preferred to live life without the legal ties of marriage, valuing her independence and ability to walk away when things didn't feel right. Number 3. Miranda Lambert. Miranda Lambert's romantic life reads like an emotional roller coaster. When Miranda was just 18, she embarked on her first serious relationship with singer Jeff Allen McManus, who was a couple of years her senior. Their deep connection came to an end around the time Miranda met her future husband, signaling a turning point in her personal and professional life. In 2005, love sparks between Miranda and Blake Shelton, despite both being entangled in other relationships. She was still with McManus, and he with his then-wife. Following their respective separations, they began dating in 2006, got engaged in 2010, and married in 2011. The heartbreak of their 2015 divorce was as sudden as their whirlwind courtship. By December 2015, mere months after the divorce, Miranda found solace in a new romance with R&B artist Anderson East, whom she met at Nashville's Live on the Green Festival in September of that year. Their connection was both tender and inspiring. Their 2-year relationship, though deeply meaningful, ended in early 2018. Miranda's next relationship was brief but highly charged. In February 2018, she began seeing Evan Felker, the frontman of the Turnpike Troubadours. The romance quickly became controversial. Felker was still legally married when their connection was first reported, prompting media attention and speculation. The relationship ended in August 2018 amid reported boundary conflicts. Then came love in unexpected places. Miranda surprised fans in 2020 by revealing she had quietly married Brendan McLaughlin, an NYPD officer she met in November 2018 while he was working security at Good Morning America. Their love story felt refreshing and far from the spotlight. Since then, Miranda has credited open communication and mutual respect as the bedrock of their relationship. From youthful love to a celebrity marriage, Miranda Lambert's romantic journey is a journey of resilience and growth. Number 2. Trisha Yearwood. Trisha Yearwood's personal life, like her music, has been shaped by deep emotion, resilience, and the courage to follow her heart. Before fame came knocking, Trisha's first marriage was to Christopher Latham, her high school sweetheart from Monticello, Georgia. They wed in 1987, when Trisha was still finding her place in the music world. The marriage, however, struggled under the weight of young ambition and long separations. By 1991, the couple divorced. In 1994, Trisha entered her second marriage, this time to Robert Reynolds. Their wedding was a bright event in Nashville's country circles, and for a while, their life together seemed harmonious. But behind the scenes, the pressures of 2 demanding careers, combined with growing personal differences, led to their split in 1999. In between her second marriage and her eventual third, Trisha was linked to a few rumored romances, though she kept her private life tightly guarded. The most transformative chapter in her love life began long before they ever became a couple. Trisha had known Garth Brooks since the late 1980s, when they were both up-and-coming artists. Over the years, their friendship deepened, even as they each married other people. When both found themselves single again in the early 2000s, romance blossomed. By the time Garth proposed in front of 7,000 fans at a California concert in May 2005, their love story felt like destiny was fulfilled. They married later that year in a small, private ceremony at their Oklahoma home. Today, Trisha credits her lasting relationship with Garth to their deep friendship, mutual respect, and shared values. Number 1. Carrie Underwood. The powerhouse country singer who rose to fame after winning American Idol in 2005 has navigated her romantic life with remarkable discretion and depth. Carrie's very first romance was with a college sweetheart, a skater she met when she was just about 14. It was her first kiss and heartbreak, teaching her early on the painful lesson that sometimes love isn't returned. During her time at Northeastern State University, Carrie began dating Drake Clark. This college romance lasted nearly 3 years and ended as her life was becoming defined by her victory on American Idol. As her fame soared, Carrie was briefly romantically linked to Tony Romo in early 2007, but the relationship fizzled. Almost immediately after, Carrie was linked to actor Chase Crawford of Gossip Girl fame. Their brief relationship, lasting around 6 months, made media waves, but it didn't work. In 2008, rumors swirled about a short-lived dating moment with Dr. Travis Stork. Though never officially confirmed, speculation persisted that they shared a brief fling before quickly moving on. Everything changed when Carrie met Canadian NHL star Mike Fisher backstage at one of her concerts in late 2008. The connection was immediate, and despite the obstacles of long-distance dating, their relationship blossomed. They got engaged in December 2009 and married in a beautiful ceremony at the Ritz-Carlton in Georgia. Their marriage has been marked by mutual support and shared values. The couple welcomed 2 sons, Isaiah and Jacob, after enduring several miscarriages. Despite all the ups and downs, Carrie found love regardless. What have you learned from these country music divas? Share with us in the comments and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the like button and watch other videos here before you leave.